Hey everybody, and welcome to the Get Speaking English Coffee and Crossword stream. My name is Axel, and while we wait for the stream to begin, let me quickly explain how this activity works and give you some information that will help you do it. So, during the stream, we will go through a crossword similar to the one you see on the screen right now. I'm going to guide the conversation by letting you know which question will work on when. I'm going to explain the question to you, maybe give you some definitions, and then I'm going to give you additional clues, other information, hints, maybe some images to help you figure out the answer with me. So, when you think you know an answer, go ahead and put it in the chat. You'll be able to participate on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. The addresses are all available on the screen. So don't be shy if you think you know an answer. Put it in the chat, and when I see a correct answer, I will add it on the board and we will fill out the crossword together that way. So before we begin though, there are a few important rules that you should know specifically about this stream so we could all have a good time. So my first major rule is no cheating. So don't use the internet unless I tell you to. So we could Google the answers if we want or use websites. We're not going to do that though. We're going to work together instead. So please do not use the internet unless I tell you to do so. Secondly, please follow the conversation. So for example, if we are talking about question number 3, don't start talking about question 19. Also, too, please be patient. We may take some detours along the way. I love to talk about additional vocabulary, phrases, other things that are related to what's in the crossword. So just please be patient. Try to stay with the group and don't ruin it for others. Finally, please be nice to one another. Like I said, you'll be able to participate on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, but let's create a nice, friendly learning environment where people feel like they can participate without judgment and have a good time. So those are my main rules for playing this game. Now I'm going to give you some additional information specifically about this crossword to help you complete it. So the first useful thing to know is that this is an American crossword. So that means that American spelling and vocabulary is going to be used. So you can see on the screen right now some differences between American and British spelling. There are many others. This is just a small sample of some of the differences. There are also differences in the choice of vocabulary, in some of the phrases, some of the slang is different. So usually this crossword uses American English. It's also worth knowing that any of the trivia is usually about the United States, so about American history, American geography. However, we won't need to know much trivia. Thankfully, the majority of the questions in this crossword are about language, they're about English, so we won't need to know a lot about trivia. It's also really helpful to know that the answers match the questions. So the answers will always use the same type of word and the same word form as the word in the question. So for example, if there is a plural in the question, there will be a plural in the answer. If there's an abbreviation in the question, there will be an abbreviation in the answer. So all of that is extremely helpful. Sometimes you will see me put little S's or EDs in places, and that's just good information for us to know to fill out the board faster. Keep that in mind too when you are answering, that your answer should always use the same type of word and the same word form as the question. Also, multiple word answers are okay in this crossword. So sometimes the answer could be a phrasal verb, maybe part of a common phrase or an idiom, part of a sentence. Some of the longer ones are titles of books, titles of movies. This crossword does not indicate when something is a multiple word answer. However, I am usually quick to spot them. I will let you know if something is a multiple word answer, but do keep in mind when you are thinking about the answers to the questions that multiple word answers are possible. Finally, too, because we are here to review English, we're here to learn new words and vocabulary as well. It's important to know that there are words in this crossword that we can't really use in real life. So some of the words are just archaic, they're outdated, they're old-fashioned. Some of them are very formal or used only in very specific contexts. I will try to let you know if you can't use something, and I'll try to give you an alternative expression instead. I'll also let you know when you could use something in a specific context, but do keep that in mind that there are words in this crossword that even I, as a native English speaker, would never use in real life during a conversation. Anyway, so that's it. Like I said, don't be shy. Go ahead, jump in. The more you participate, the faster this crossword will go. So I do appreciate your help. Also, don't hesitate to ask questions about any of the words we talk about or any of the phrases we discuss. I always love having a good language discussion. So put your questions in the chat. I will try to address them. Finally, if you enjoyed this activity, please give this video a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing to the channel or following my Facebook page so you don't miss any future streams. Also, please tell other people about this stream. The more people we can get out, the better. It grows the community, and it will let me host even more free live streams, free events, and other additional affordable group activities for English learners. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you being here, and I love when you participate. And get ready because we are going to start soon. There we go. I think I'm here now. Welcome. I started playing my little video a little late. Welcome, my name's Axel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. I'm here today, we're doing a crossword. So we are going to do this crossword. Yeah, so welcome everybody. It's really good to see you guys. I was already chatting a little bit with Jacqueline in the chat. So if anybody else is out there too, feel free to say hello. I love when you guys say hello. I'm live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So you are going to be able to participate and help me with this crossword at any of those locations. So I have the chats open. I can see your comments and things like that. So feel free to participate. If you think you have an answer, put it in the chat. And when I see an answer, I will put it on the board and we will figure out the crossword that way. Yeah, so I guess we can just get right into it. It's funny, so I recorded the little how-to video and now I don't have as many things to say once I start. But that's fine, it's more efficient this way. Anyways. I was hoping today's crossword would have been about Valentine's Day, actually, because it's Valentine's Day here in Canada. But unfortunately, it did not. It was not a Valentine's related crossword. Sometimes they're like related to the holidays and things like that, so they have themes. But today's crossword is just a normal crossword, so I'm a little disappointed, but that's fine. Anyways, alright, so let's start with this guy up here, I guess. So Yellowstone animal. So if you don't know, Yellowstone is actually a park. It is this big natural park in the United States. So a very large, it's like a nature reserve almost. And so it has like lots of really large animals and things like that in it. But I think this animal, this animal is very large, very large, and considered to be very dangerous. So this animal is very large and considered to be very dangerous. A very dangerous one. And exactly, I think that this is gonna be a bear, and I'm just gonna pull up a picture of a bear just so we could all see, so we're all on the same page. But one of these guys is a common animal that you would find in places like Yellowstone National Park. All right, perfect. So let's see what else can we do here. Surrounded by zodiac animal. Okay, let's do this one. Another animal related one. This one might be a little bit trickier though. So the zodiac has to do with astrology, right? They say that you can kind of predict a person's personality and their, I guess, their future and things like that based on the positions of the stars. So that's what we're talking about here. And so there are 12 signs. We call them 12 signs of the zodiac. And depending on when you were born during the year, you would fall within a different sign. So for example, you know, there's like Cancer, Libra, Gemini. Those are all examples. So there's also the Chinese zodiac as well. This one, I think the answer to this one is actually referring to the Western zodiac. But rat is that's a good guess for sure. Yeah. Because that is one of the signs of the Chinese zodiac. This one here, it's a little less obvious because I think the answer to this is the type of animal that's Aries. That sign. I am going to get an image of Aries because it's a type of animal. Type of animal with really big horns. Wait, let's see it here. So this guy, the type of animal this thing is, this AI generated picture. But yeah, this it's almost like a goat, but we wouldn't call this a goat. Actually, another sign is the goat. This one is slightly different. But yeah. So the type of animal this sign is, and the sign is Aries, which is like the first one. It's like a mountain goat, right? But exactly. So this is a ram, which is a male, which is a male goat, or a male sheep, I should say. A ram is a male sheep. Perfect. So ram, a male sheep. And if you're unaware, a ewe, because this comes up sometimes too in the crossword. This is a female sheep. So, but the rams are the males and the ewes are female sheep. All right, perfect. Nice. What else here? Like haunted houses. So something that is haunted, we might say is it's still occupied by ghosts or spirits, maybe, right? So something is haunted, we might say it is inhabited, let's say, by ghosts or spirits, right? Sort of like things maybe from the dead, from beyond the grave, we might say. That might be sort of a phrase that we might say to talk about that sort of that spiritual, that other world. So we're looking for an adjective here. This is an adjective that kind of tells us what that atmosphere. It describes the atmosphere, basically. Almost like if, you know, it's probably going to be spooky, right? But obviously spooky isn't our answer here, because this one's going to start with an E. But another great word to describe when something's kind of spooky and mysterious, a little bit scary, right? Exactly. Airy. Eerie, I should say. Eerie. Eerie is going to be that adjective. Yeah, something that is eerie is kind of feels like there's a little bit strange, maybe a little bit frightening, maybe, in a bit of a mysterious way. So here, for example, I'll put this one in a sentence for us. So she heard eerie noises of the wind howling through the trees, so they were a little bit scary, a little bit spooky. All right, perfect. What else do we have here? Move borders, perhaps. We'll come back to this one because I don't think this one's super obvious. But I think we could do this one. Bakery, a bakery. Come on. Bakery is a place where we bake things, right? A place, where they bake, you know, bread and cookies and all of those really great things, right? And this come on thing. So the come on is just basically something that you would something that you would sense, something that you would maybe smell from the bakery. Right, so they're kind of like, because they're, you know, they're baking the bread, they're baking the things, right? And it kind of fills the air with this really nice, these really nice smells and things like that, right? So we're basically looking for a word, another word to describe that really pleasant, that really great smell. So that's what we mean here. Yeah, something to describe, word to describe that really nice smell. Word. A really lovely smell from a bakery. You know, it's so pleasant. And we would use this typically to describe the smell, good smells from cooking. So I'm going to give you a hint. This one starts with an A, actually. So I'm going to put an A in here. Great word. It's almost the opposite. An opposite word might be odor. That we would use to describe really bad smells, actually. So we're so close. So this word is actually aroma. So an aroma would be like a really strong, really pleasant smell that would come from the bakery, that would come on in the bakery that you would get if you were there. So awesome. So an aroma, what we're looking for. So here, for example, the aroma of freshly baked bread there. And if we want to describe a really bad smelling smell, we would probably use the word odor instead. So that's like the opposite. So bad smell. So the musty odor of a damp cellar. The cellar is a room in the basement where sometimes they might store canned jarred food and canned things like that. And it probably smells a bit like moldy, a little bit musty. So it has this unpleasant smell, this unpleasant odor. So odor for something that's bad, but aroma for something good for food. That's what we would use. What else do we have here? Take the title. So take the title. Take the title. We're looking for a verb here. If you take the title, you probably did the best. You were the best in a competition. So often titles, like we talk about titles, well, titles on a variety of different things, but you can get a title by basically beating out everybody else in a competition. Basically, like here, for example, in this example here. So Joe Louis won the heavyweight boxing title in 1937. So we're looking for a verb, basically, that we might use if you get the title, if you beat out all of your competitors and you come out on top. And there's actually a little bit of a giveaway in the example that I just put up, actually. Exactly, we're gonna win a title. We are going to win a title. So if you take the title, you're going to win. Oops, win the title. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. Horde. Okay. Yes, let's do this one. This scuffle. A scuffle. A scuffle usually refers to a fight. So a scuffle is a fight. Kind of a little bit of a fight. Maybe a fight that might happen at a bar, for example. You know, when people get kind of drunk, a little bit too drunk, and then they start, you know, having a fist fight or something like that. They start beating on one another. So a fight, maybe one that happens at the bar, for example. So we're looking for basically another word for that sort of, to describe that style of fighting, you know, where maybe there's, you know, just like with fists and stuff like that. And people are just kind of like fighting. It's a little bit noisy, a little bit crazy. Kind of uncontrolled. Here's the official definition of this word. A noisy, rough, uncontrolled fight. Yeah. So, and exactly, this is going to be a brawl. Brawl is going to be. That's going to be our word here. Here we can see a drunken brawl. So exactly, so a fight that happens at the bar because everybody is drunk. So drunken there. Awesome. Fantastic. You're doing really great. You're great at this. I appreciate your help. Go so much faster. Go so much faster with help. Let's do this one, maybe. All right, surrounded by. So if you're surrounded by something, you have things all around you, and you're maybe in the middle, right? To have things all around you, and you are in the middle. So we're kind of looking for a word, another word that we might, I mean, there's a couple words that we might use to describe being in the middle of something. A couple good little ones. Amid might be one. Oh, that's not our answer, but amid or there's kind of a couple similar ones. I'm looking for synonyms in the middle of something. But yeah, kind of be in the middle. Yeah, amid or amidst. I don't tend to use these. Among, exactly. I'm gonna say too, there's also amongst. That is another one. I tend not to use these very often, but you can use them if you're amid something or amidst something or amongst, among. Exactly. Fantastic. So we're in the middle of something. That's what that's going to be. I think we're gonna skip this horde thing. But we can do this one, this bar rock. So we're back to the bar with the drunken brawl. If you ever hear of a drink, so sometimes they will people will ask for a drink over the rocks. They mean that they want the drink served over these well, I'm gonna get a picture of it, of what we mean by that. Let's see if I can get a picture. Somebody pouring a drink, maybe not. You can kind of see it in this picture. I don't think it's quite big enough. But you can see here that we are pouring the drink over, like, it's not there are other things in this glass, right? There are these rocks, these cubes of something. Exactly. Ice. So ice is gonna be the rocks. If you just drink it without ice, we might say that you just want it neat. So, but yeah, if you have it over rocks, that means that you want your alcohol served over ice. Exactly. And we can see here too, these little wedges. Orange wedges. It looks like they are being used as a garnish. So any of the little decorative elements that go on the glass, we would call the garnish. So those are little wedges or little slices, orange wedges or orange slices. Yeah. And yeah, this looks like this is a cocktail being served over ice in these little glasses. All right, what else do we have here? So bad boxer. I don't know what this is. I'm just gonna put this in here. Popular tales. Major. Oh, let's do this one really quickly. This should be an easy one, I think, because we're all here. This here, so Major Lang. So this is an abbreviation, right? An abbreviation for language. So this word is also going to be an abbreviation for a major important, well, not just important, but widely spoken language, basically. And I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It is kind of the one that you are practicing right now. It's the language we're practicing right now. Our major language, which is learned by billions of people around the world. I would say millions and billions of people. Yeah, so we're looking for like the abbreviated, whatever the abbreviation for that might be. But I will also just accept, I suppose, the language as well. Oh, so I think this is going to be, well, English. So the abbreviation of that might be ENG. That is typically how we would write it short. So ENG. Let's put that in here. German also a very important major language. Yeah, but I think here we're looking for English actually, because that's gonna. Trust me. But yeah, so here we're gonna put English in here. And welcome, Martin. It's good to see you. Let's do, what else can we do here? Short, light, speedy animal. Okay, let's do this one, the speedy animal, I think. Let's get some information over in this quadrant. Speedy animal. There is this tale. Do you guys remember this the tale? There is a tale where a tortoise has a race against a rabbit, right? So there's this very like sort of popular tale about this tortoise that has this race against the rabbit, and I guess the rabbit sort of takes a nap and the tortoise wins. And I guess the moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race, basically, or something like that. But we are looking for, in the story though, we don't call it a rabbit. We don't call it a rabbit, but this is another, it's a sort of a type of rabbit that's very fast. Yeah, it's kind of a kid's tale. But yeah, I don't know, another name, a more specific name for this type of rabbit. So there is an E in it. There is definitely an E in it. Yeah, so there's an E here. So we have an E here. Yeah. I don't know what the difference is between, I guess there's slight differences between a rabbit and this animal. A little bit different. Cause or actually I feel like this might be a rabbit. This one looks more like what I think this is. You know, they're kind of a little bit more slender. They have these long pointy ears. And they're very fast. Very fast animals. It starts with an H. I gotta put an H in here. I'll put an H. So if we put an H here. So this guy, this is a hare. A hare. So in the story, it was the tortoise and the hare. That is the story. And so the tortoise and the hare. Yeah, so that's one of these guys. So I'm gonna put this in here. And I believe this is sort of like a rabbit that it sort of lives in the desert and things like that. Whereas I think rabbits are more domesticated or something. Anyways. Let's do this one. Now that we have an H in here, this resort site. A resort is usually a place where you go to relax, right? Right? There's usually they're often these nice spaces kind of next to the ocean. Here, I'm gonna get a picture here of a nice resort. You can see here, this one here is it's this nice tropical resort right next to the ocean. So we're looking for a word to describe where this is located. So can we say that hare is the wild animal? Yeah, I think hares are not domesticated animals. So a domesticated animals are ones that live close to humans, either as, you know, pets or farm animals. Hares are usually wild animals. Apparently there is some, as I was looking for an image, I discovered that apparently there are some slight differences between a hare and a rabbit. So hares have longer, thinner ears, and they have longer, thinner legs, and they tend to be more lean and stuff like that. But rabbits are the ones that we would keep as pets, and yeah, hares would be wild rabbits, basically. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so a hare is a wild animal, though. Yes. So I think this is a word that has to do with the location, like where the resort is and how it is near the water, right? Because we can see that we have a beach here. We're looking for basically another word to refer to this land that is right next to a body of water. Yeah, basically a word for, yeah, the land along the edge of a sea, the lake, or a really wide river. The word we could use to describe all of that. I'll give you a hint. It starts with an S. So it's going to be an SH word. SH. So I think this one is going to be shore. Exactly. Yeah, shore. So shore would be the word we would use to describe the land along a sort of a larger body of water. So here we go. Here's an example sentence here. The boat was about a mile from, we'll say offshore. So away from where the land meets the water when the engine suddenly died. So shore would be along here. So let's put that in here. All the resorts are next to the shore. All right. What else do we have here? Pirates place. So many water things. Antlered animal. Let's do this one, maybe. This game. Setting. We meet a location here. The setting here is going to be the location. Just another word for location. So we're looking for a place, basically, a location where you would play a game. And not just like, well, people would play a game there, but people would go to this place to watch a game as well. So it's usually a very large venue. This is a very large venue with a lot of seating. You would go there to watch games. Exactly, this is an arena. An arena. An arena is where we go to watch big, important games. Perfect. Trying to think which one of these we are going to know. I think we probably can get this one, a popular tale. So a tale is a story. I'm gonna put the S here because we can see that there is an S here, so there's gonna be an S here. So a tale. It's basically a story, right? And which may or may not be true. I'm gonna add that in here. So we're basically looking for another sort of word about tales or about stories that are very popular, very famous, maybe I'm gonna say. Something something. Very famous, popular stories, basically. Maybe something very old, like a very old story, typically. But that basically talks about maybe famous people or very famous events. So very famous, popular stories that talk about, you know, famous people or extremely important events. Usually they are old. Maybe they get passed down from generation to generation. Legends, exactly. Legends. Let's put that in here. Legends. Okay. And I don't know if we know what this is. Although we knew ram, so that was cool. That was great. This is another word for a male animal. But this animal, instead of the ram that had horns, this one has antlers, which are these large horns that kind of come out of the head of an animal. Deer, for example, or moose or elk have antlers. I'm gonna get a picture here. Basically, what are these guys? So this animal here we can see has antlers. And this is the name for a male, one of these male animals. So it's not swag. That's a great guess though. So not swag. Actually, I'm gonna tell you what swag is after we get the answer, because I think that that might be an interesting vocabulary word for you guys. So not swag. basically a male deer. Another one for a male. Another word might be a buck as well. You might hear that. Buck, also a name for a male deer. The does are the females. Oops, females. The stag, exactly. This is a stag. Stags are the male animals here. One thing, so stag is kind of a little maybe a little bit of a lesser known word, but a stag party actually is one of those parties that men will have before they get married. So the little party that men have with their friends before they get married. You know, the groom might go out with the best man and their friends or whatever like that, and they might go get, you know, drunk and go to the strip club or whatever people do, right? That is a stag party. So you might come across this word here as well, too. And I was going to say, so swag. If you've ever been to a like a conference or something like that where there are a lot of booths and people are giving away things for free, like they might give away little like tote bags and pens and buttons and things like that. All of that stuff we would call swag. So that is what swag is. It's like the basically freebies. So swag are freebies you get from companies, basically, at, you know, conferences or other big events, or like expos and things like that. They're basically promotional items. So promotional items that people might give away. So that's all swag. That's what a swag is. Kind of a funny word. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? That's up. Classroom need. Yeah, let's do this one, maybe. Classroom need. This is a thing that we might use. So, you know, in the classroom, how there's usually there might be a blackboard or a whiteboard. I'm going to show you the differences between these two things. The blackboard is the thing that, the big black thing. The big black thing that you would write on. And then there's the whiteboard as well that you would write on with markers. And yeah, you would use an eraser. You would use an eraser to clear off the blackboard. So there is the whiteboard with the markers, the blackboard with chalk. We write with chalk on the blackboard, and yeah, an eraser is what we would use. Awesome. Yeah, you guys are really on this. This is really great. You guys are doing really great. I really appreciate it. So good. Yeah, let's see. What else do we have here? I don't know if we're gonna know this word, but we'll talk about it in a second. Else here? Nest eggs. Okay. Yeah, let's maybe do this. A pirate. They're kind of like kind of people that are on, you know, ships, right? And I'll show you sort of a classic image of maybe a pirate. You know, like this sort of thing, right? This type of person, you know, they're on ships and things like that, and maybe they will like steal. They're typically considered to be dangerous. people, but there is a place where these people will be, right? You won't find pirates in the middle of the desert or in the middle of the, I don't know, in the middle of the mountains, right? They are all, you wouldn't find them in a lake, for example. We're looking for a two-word answer here, basically, about where you would find a pirate, basically. So, I'll give you a bit of a hint. This first one here is kind of like, this is basically like an adjective to describe how the place is. And this one here, it's like the a word, a noun to describe where you would find the pirate, like where they would be. Right? Because you wouldn't have a boat on a prairie, for example. You wouldn't find a boat in a city, for example, right? there's a very specific place where you would find a ship like this, right? And it is not on land. So this is basically a word for that. You might be able to guess what that is. Basically a word for a body of water. Call it a body of water. So a body of water is anything like any large sort of area of water. So like a lake, for example, the body of water. I guess a pond could be, well, usually larger. An ocean, also a body of water. We're looking for a 3-letter word here, so for a body of water. So I'm gonna put here, this is gonna be open, because the space is very extremely open. So open, we got open sea, yeah, S-E-A, exactly. So you would find them on the open seas. This big space that is open, it is not closed off, right? Tons of space. So we would say that it is open. We might also describe the sky as being open as well, right? Because it is this big expanse, right? But yeah, we would call it the open oceans or the open sea, for example. Yeah, so that's how we would talk about that. Become narrower. Revise. So to take in something, this is a word, this has to do with, well, so there's a couple ways that we could use the word take in. Take in something. I mean, that could mean to accept something. Or maybe like to take in, I don't know, an animal or a child could be like, would mean to adopt them so that you would take care of them. But I think this word here, this answer, you would also take in a view, for example. You would take in a view or take in the views. That's what we would say. You take in the views. Which basically means you kind of look and you enjoy the view. So we're looking for a verb here that basically means that, you know, you look at something and you kind of enjoy it, sort of. So basically sort of like a similar word for like to look, right? Yeah, to see. So we're gonna like take in the views, we're gonna see the views, right? So let's put that in here. So we got so see. And yeah, let's do this one. This mess up. If you mess something up, so if you mess something up, like I keep messing this up. You mess something up. It means you make a big mistake with it. Basically. So you make a mistake with it. And notice that collocation too. We make mistakes. We don't do mistakes, but we make mistakes. So this is also a word that has to do with making mistakes. This is not a common word. This is a verb. This is not a common word. But it shows up in the crossword a lot because it's a good crossword word. But this word also means to make mistakes or to make, how about this, errors. An error is a great word because it has a similar root. They share a similar root word here. So if you think you know what that is, put it in the chat. And there's a few collocations that we use this word in actually, and I'll talk about it maybe. A little collocation. So this word, this is to err, to err. Oops, err. Here we go. To err means to make a mistake. And we can see here, error comes from this word, to make a mistake. This is very formal though. To err is very, very formal. But there are a couple collocations, a couple idioms that we use this in. So a very common one is to err on the side of caution. So to err on the side of caution, and that just basically means, you know, you be very careful when you're doing something instead of taking big risks, because you don't want to make mistakes. So this is a really great idiom where we use this word. So to err on the side of caution, here is an example. So 25 people have replied to the invitation, but I've erred on the side of caution and I put out 30 chairs. So it sounds like they invited many more people. I don't know, maybe they invited 40 people, but only 25 people responded. So they decided to play it safe. Another common collocation. They decided to play it safe, not take any chances. So they decided to put out more chairs than they needed. So they erred on the side of caution and they decided to put out more chairs in case more people arrive, basically. So that's what happened. So that's what we could say. Yeah, so that's a good one. To err on the side of caution. Do you guys typically prefer to err on the side of caution when you are maybe doing a project or something like that, or do you like to take risks? So let me know. What else do we have here? I just gotta do this one. So this one's renders. To taper means to become narrower. I'm gonna show you something that is a second here, if I can get a good picture. Gosh. Basically means to like reduce or something like that, but I'm not having very good luck. Not having very good luck, but yeah, if something tapers off, it gets less and less and less. I have all sorts of these weird images. Yeah, here's some sort of weird graph, I guess. Here's a weird graph, and we can see that whatever this stat is, it's getting less and less over time. So we could say that this is like to you have 2 alarm clocks, so do I. yeah, we are the same. So I'm also the same. Taper off, or just a taper means to gradually become less and less. But I was trying to like look at I guess buildings might taper off, become narrower. Here we go. Here is a picture. I mean, this has a spire. This has like a spire, but we can see how the top here becomes narrower and narrower. It tapers off. So that is how we would use this. That's how we would use this word here. Okay. Cloth scrap. Cloth scrap. So a scrap of cloth. We mean a small piece of cloth. A scrap is usually something that's left over. That's left over. So, maybe like a small piece of clothing. You might hear too a scrap of food or food scraps, right? We mean like leftover food. So we're looking for a word. Looking for a word to describe a scrap of clothing. You could also say a scrap of paper as well, too. But this one, I would say this is basically sort of like a small piece of cloth that we might use for cleaning, typically, or something. Like this guy here. Here is a, well, I don't know if this, we would use this for cleaning, but kind of like this. Here is a scrap of fabric. I think I can get this on the same. Here we go. Here is a scrap of fabric. Maybe it's a little tattered along the edges. And what do I mean by tattered? I mean it's slightly ripped. You can see that it is not, it's not a clean cut, right? We would describe that as being tattered. And we might use it, I mean, maybe for cleaning or something like that. This word starts with an R. I'm gonna put an R in here. Help you guys. So it's gonna start with an R. So I think this one is going to be a rag. So a rag is going to be our cloth scrap. So I'm gonna put that in here. So a rag. Yeah, I would describe that as being a rag. But we'd also use it for, you know, cleaning and things like that too. Here is also a sort of a stack of cleaning rags that we might use as well. But so those are rags. So we would use those for cleaning and things like that. What else are we going to know as a group? I'll put that here. Um, 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 um. Maybe let's do another quadrant. Maybe we might know this word. Maybe. So a lentil is a type of food. This word here is a word for a food, kind of a food group, like a type of food. These are lentils. So we're all on the same page. These little guys here. They're kind of like a type of, almost like a type, I want to say a type of bean. I shouldn't say it. It's a type of this, whatever the heck this is. Something, G, something, something, something. This is a type of food that includes lentils and beans and peas, and I think even peanuts are technically one of these. They're also technically one of these, but yeah, whatever we would call all of those. This might be a tricky word. Yeah, so type of food that includes lentils, beans, peas, that sort of thing. See if I can get a picture with like all of the different types. Here we go. Seeing this picture. Yeah, we can see in this picture, we have not only lentils, I think lentils are in here, but we also have chickpeas, or gomba, can't say it. I call them chickpeas. We have also like white beans, kidney beans, looks like maybe some peas in here too, split peas, we would call these. And a legume, exactly, legume. Perfect, yeah, so these are legumes. Legumes. So let's put that in here. What else do we have here? Gibbs, bygone auto. Let's do this one. Sometimes we use, so blue. Obviously, blue is usually a color, right? Usually a color. But sometimes we use this word to describe a feeling. So this word is a feeling we feel when we are blue. So the feeling. Yeah, so the feeling we feel when we are blue, and we are basically not very happy, right? Well, I know that there's sort of other feelings we could feel when we are not happy. We could be angry, for example. That is also a feeling. I suppose you could be bored. That is also a feeling. But the one, if we are feeling blue, and that is going to be sad. Exactly. So let's put sad in here. All right, nice. Nice. What else do we have here? Yeah, let's do this one. These age units. So whenever they talk about units, or whenever we talk about a unit of anything, we talk about basically one piece or one part, right? So a unit is basically one piece or one part of something. So we're looking for a unit that makes up the age of something. So this is, and we see that there's an S here, so I'm gonna put an S in here. So these things make up someone's age, basically. So however we count ages, basically, the age of something. So we use these to count how old someone is or how old something is, basically. There might be a couple other units too, but this is the most common one. We, you know, adults, for example, we would use this. Talk about how old we are, right? Years, exactly. Yes, years. So years are going to be our age unit. Let's put that in here. All right, nice. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say this is the most common one. I mean, if you were talking about a baby, you might use months for a child, but years, probably the most common one that we would use. Chord unit. Oh, this might be a new word for us. Another unit. So one thing. We're looking for whatever the heck you would call one of these. We would say an E something something of corn, of this food. Yeah, one of these things. So, could be a new word, though. Possibly. Maybe. Because I think most of us, I feel like a lot of people would know this as being corn on the cob, right? Which is kind of true, but there is another word that we would use when it is included in this, we would call this the husk. The green part is the husk. And actually, the cob is that really hard inner part. The part that you can't eat. We can see the cob here, actually. So that is the cob. And then the green part is the husk. This whole thing we would call an ear of corn. So that's going to be an ear of corn. An ear of corn. Yeah. So, but typically when it's prepared, it would just be, yeah, you would have, you know, corn on the cob or whatever. Oh, and the individual little things, the little yellow things are called kernels. I think I spelled that right. The individual pieces of corn are called kernels. All right. What else do we have here? Golf feet? I don't know. But we should be able to do this one, this grammar topic, since we are all here hanging out, talking about language. A topic we might study when we were talking about words. Something. Something we would study. This is kind of like a formal word. But to talk about, you know, the particular ways maybe words are used. you know, so how they are used maybe, or how maybe just like the language in general is kind of used. Usage. Yes, usage is gonna be what we are gonna say. I gotta say too, another common, more general way that we might use the word usage could be to talk about, you know, how something is treated or how something is used. So here in this example here, sports equipment is designed to withstand hard usage. So we are supposed to sort of treat it hard, and you know, it's designed to be durable, to withstand being used in very hard ways, right? So we could also use it that way. That is also a very common way to use this word. Yeah, what else do we have here? Genuine. Genuine. Something genuine. Something genuine is kind of like it's true, right? So we're basically looking for another word that means something is, you know, it's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's not fake, it's not false, right? So, you know, it's right, you know, yeah. You know, it's not imaginary, right? So exists, it's not imaginary. Real, exactly. It's something real. It's not imaginary, it's true, it's right, or it's genuine. Genuine. People also say genuine. That's why I was like switching back and forth. But yeah, genuine or genuine. Both of those are correct. Alright, what else do we have here? Golf feet. Alright, I'm just gonna like put some of these because these are useless. These are useless for us. Oh, we might be able to get this one though. Maybe. I wonder if we know what this word is actually. We have an S here. That's gonna help us. These little machine parts. This is these little gear things that have the little teeth. Gonna show you one. These little, kind of these little guys. You might call these gears. You could call these gears, but there is an even more specific word for this. For these guys. Yeah, these are cogs. Exactly. So these are cogs. Let's put cog in there. Oh, I was gonna say, there's like a great little, I think a little, like you're a cog in the machine. Little idiom. I can find it. Maybe. Yeah, to be a cog in the machine. Basically, you are one member of like a much larger organization or something. And that makes you feel that, you know, your job or whatever you're doing is not important. So to be a cog in the machine, yeah, to be a member of a large organization whose job, although necessary, makes them feel like they are not important. So here we go. So in a sentence, I decided to set up my own business. So I decided to start my own business because I was tired of just being a cog in the machine. I was just tired of feeling like my contributions did not matter and I was not important. So that's a kind of a fun one, how we might use a cog in day-to-day Life. What else do we have here? Okay, let's do this one. This look of contempt. Contempt is kind of like, it's kind of a feeling of dislike. It's like a strong feeling of dislike. Dislike. Often maybe because you don't respect someone. Yeah, this one here. So here, if you had sort of looked at someone, oh wait, make sure I spell this right. Okay, there. Okay, so if you don't like someone, or maybe they say something that you don't like, you might give them this look. I'm gonna try to get a picture, because I see this look in memes a lot. Memes a lot. Where you kind of just look at somebody out of the corner of your eye. Let's see if I can get a good one. All these pictures are terrible. Like in this meme. Kind of like in this one. Where you look at somebody out of the corner of your eye because you're just like, maybe they said something silly or something you think is kind of a little bit dumb. So we're looking for a word, or 2 words, I should say. 2 words to describe that look. What we might call that look. Yes, a look in which you move your eyes to the side without turning your face, showing that you are annoyed by somebody or you do not respect them or believe what they are saying. So this part here kind of indicates the direction that we're looking. And then this word here has to do with the body part we are using. Yeah, side eye. So a side eye. We give somebody a side eye. So side eye. I'll put this in a sentence in a second. But yeah, give someone the side eye. Oops. You look right without moving your face. To show that you're annoyed. Here we go. Here is it in a sentence. So I gave him the side eye. And I told him he was lying. So, and we can see here this guy in this little meme giving him the side eye. That's probably because somebody said something dumb. Or that you don't agree with. You think is silly. Anyways, under the weather means that we're not feeling well. Under the weather. Oops. Oh, I can't type. Oh, so I don't have my cap lock on. Alright. Looking for a word. If we're under the weather, we are not feeling well. Exactly, we're gonna be ill. Let's see, ill. So let's put that in here, ill. I'm gonna just put this here. I think that's, yes. Okay. I don't know what this one is. It'll come to me. Orgies love. Article. Fit for reading. Okay, let's do this one. I think we can do this one. This is a big word, but I think that we can do it. Something is If something is fit for doing something, it's just basically a way to say that you are able to do something. So in this case, we're looking for a word that describes... Basically, I'm looking for a word that describes when, you know, text is good enough to be read. Like when it makes sense, right? Basically the opposite of when maybe text is a mess and you can't decipher what it says, you can't figure out what it says. So we're looking for a word that describes when something is readable, basically. So readable. And maybe a little bit of a hint here in this word. Because it's really, we can see here that I've used this this suffix to indicate that something is possible. This word is also going to have that similar suffix in here to say that something is possible. And another hint too, another little hint. So sometimes in this crossword, there will be little patterns to some of the questions. And this one starts with an L. This one starts with an L. This one starts with an L. I think this one is also going to be an L. So I'm going to put an L in here as well. So we're looking for a word that starts with an L. That means we are able to read something. Or rather, that something is able to be read, I should say. So listenable, this is actually gonna, so this is gonna be legible. So we say something is legible. So legible, if something is, I think I spelled that right. Let's double check. Yes, legible. No, legible. An I. There we go. My bad. So something legible is readable. We might... You know where we often talk about this? We often use legible to describe handwriting. So how people write by hand. So her handwriting is barely legible. So we are barely able to read it. We can hardly read it, or we can't read it very well. But yeah, you would describe handwriting as being legible. So legible writing or legible print can be read easily, basically. So it's fit for reading. So it's good for reading. Junior to senior. This is kind of a family. This is a family word. Whatever this is a family word. Senior usually refers to somebody who is older, right? And then junior refers to someone who is younger, typically, or maybe in, you know, companies and things like that too. There will be senior positions, people who have been there for a really long time and they're really knowledgeable, and then you have the juniors who maybe are less knowledgeable about things. They have not worked, they don't have as much experience, right? But we could also use these to talk about families. So in this case, junior would be the younger person in the family to whoever the senior is. So I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe. But this is also kind of a common way to refer to... I don't want to say the answer. I don't want to say the answer in my description. But to refer to a male child? Maybe? Yeah. So senior could refer, probably it refers to the dad in this situation, or the father, right? And then junior would refer to whatever this is. So I think this is going to be son. So junior to senior is going to be the son. So I'm going to put son in here. We got son. What else do we have here? Motor cube. I don't know. Something is outdated. It is maybe... well, no longer new. Alright. Trying to think of how to describe this without using the word. Something outdated is maybe no longer good because there are newer versions of something available. Maybe there are more modern versions. So we're looking for a 3-letter word. Exactly. Old. Something outdated could be old. So let's put old in here. Alright. Awesome. Chess. Finish. Underground. Rodent. Okay, I'm looking for words we know that we're going to be able to get. Or at least that I'm going to be able to explain. Let's do this one. Maybe this underground rodent. So something that... So underground refers to something that lives in, you know, in the earth. So under the earth, in the soil, right? And we're looking for an animal that lives under the ground. They are blind. This animal is blind. I'm gonna get a picture. This animal is blind. Usually we refer to this animal in a short way. Usually we only refer to it as like the first part. But here we have a slightly longer word. It's one of these guys. So if you know what one of these guys are, let me know. And even if you know sort of like the short version, let me know and I'll put in the second half. I'll put in the second half of the answer. So whatever the heck this thing is, that is what we're looking for. So that is a mole, exactly. So that is a mole. And sometimes these get called mole rats. So I'm gonna put this in as a mole rat. I think that's the answer they want. Mole rat. More commonly known as a mole, like he said. But yeah, mole rat. I guess because they kind of look like rats as well. Okay. What else do we have here? I wonder if we're gonna know this word. This word means so if you're seething, you are extremely angry. Like you are so angry. Officially. You're extremely angry, but you're unable or unwilling to express it clearly. So it's like you have, it's almost like resentment or something here. So a feeling of seething resentment led to angry exchanges between the team. So angry. So we're basically looking for another word that has to do with anger. So again, like an adjective. This might be a new word for us, but we might know it. I'm always amazed sometimes the words that people know, so that's great. So another word basically just means like very angry, and this will be a good one to add to your vocabulary if you don't know this one. Also seething too. This is kind of a good one. Yes, we're gonna be irate. We're gonna be irate if we're extremely angry. So irate. Like I was just irate. Here we go. I'll put this in a sentence. So we have received some irate phone calls from customers. They were just so angry. They're probably screaming and yelling and things like that. Or I was just irate after the interaction. So that's a good one. A good one to know. Article. Yeah, let's do this one. This article. So articles could refer to a couple different things, right? Like we know articles in English, right? The and those are all articles, right? Also article can refer to sort of a piece of writing in a magazine, right? Or a newspaper. But we could also use an article just generally to refer to things. We can also use articles just can also use the word article to refer to things in general, right? Or clothing too. We will say an article of clothing. So a piece of clothing, right? Exactly. This is going to be item. So, or an item of clothing. So just a piece of clothing or just anything. Like go grab your articles, go grab your things, go grab your items, basically. So item. Great. Nice. I wonder if we can know this one. I don't know which one of these is going to be easier. So this woman in hard-boiled... I don't know if I like that. But you know how like in, sort of in stories... Oh, is my internet very lousy? This is kind of like a title for a woman. I don't know if we're gonna know this one though. What else do we have here? Cone and a cube. Holds back. Alright. I guess we're doing this one. Oh, you just got it, Dames. Okay. I'm glad you got it, because I was like, how do I explain this? But a title for a woman, typically somebody who is like sort of like an honorable title that you would get to like a woman, basically. Yes. Cones and cubes are cone and a cube are they're like solids. Holds back. I'm gonna put an S here. Might put this one in a sentence, maybe. So this here, this word, this is not super common. Oh, is it? As a French name. Okay, nice, 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 nice. Yeah, yes. Okay, great. Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure how to explain that one. But he... Did I just ruin it? I just ruined it. Okay. Yeah, this one here means, though, to basically stop something unwanted from happening. If you hold something back, you kind of prevent something from happening. This is a tricky one to explain too as well. But this one's gonna be stems. I think we should be able to get this one. Bashful. Somebody's bashful. It's kind of another way to say that you are maybe easily embarrassed. Kind of like you're shy. You are bashful. You are easily embarrassed. Maybe a little shy. So for example, so here for example, she gave a bashful smile as she complimented her on her work. So we're kind of looking for a similar word to describe somebody who is a little shy, maybe? Here is the official definition. Yeah, maybe a bit shy. I would say this is kind of more on the shy end of things. Because this, if you are this type of person, you're kind of maybe a little bit more quiet, a little bit more gentler. You don't like to cause problems and things like that, so you kind of withhold your opinions and your feelings and things like that. But this might be a tricky word. Although this is a pretty, I mean, people will know this word. But yeah, this is definitely a less common word. This is an adjective too, I should say. Yeah, kind of a tricky one. So gentle and quiet. We're gonna be meek. Meek is the word that we are looking for. So this is gonna be meek. So if you're meek, you kind of, maybe you're not very opinionated, you're not very forceful. This example doesn't say anything, but she seemed very meek and mild. Or here's another one. He's slight, so he's very thin. Meek. Seems a little bit weak, maybe. Balding. Hardly heroic. So he doesn't seem like he's very brave at all. So that is meek. And this one here, the holds back. This is gonna be stems, but I want to put it in a sentence for you guys. Here we go. You stem something. Basically means to stop something from spreading or increasing. So, here we go. These measures are designed to stem the rise of violent crime, intended to prevent crime. We could also use it to stop the flow of liquid as well, too. That could be another way. This is not a super common word, but yeah, basically to stop something from happening. So to stem the flow of something. So she tied a handkerchief, one of those cloths, around the wound. This word is wound, not wound, but wound, an injury, to stem this flow of blood, to stop the blood from flowing. So I think that's it. Sorry, these last ones were kind of tricky. But we all did amazing on the rest of it. You guys are really great today, so I really appreciate your help. It's such a pleasure when people participate and help me with the crossword. I really appreciate it so much. So I will be back next Wednesday for a crossword. So at 1300 UTC, I will be back. That's on Wednesday for another coffee and crosswords stream. And I also have a PM stream too that I have been doing because I'm actually more of an evening person. I'm not really a morning person. But also too, it's been a great way to connect with some of the people in South America because I know that this time is difficult for some people. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, Martin. It was so fantastic to have you both here. I saw a couple other people pop in as well, so it was really great to have you here with me today. I hope that was really enjoyable. Hope you learned some really good words. Yeah, so I will see you guys all Wednesday. Yeah, and I hope you all have a really fantastic weekend and happy Valentine's Day. So thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you all next time. All right, bye.